This video right here that I'm about to shoot is about doing the work. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta do the work. If you're into anything spiritual or anything conscious, which it's the same thing, but let's just say spirit. Let's just say I'm being mad weird. I don't know. I decided to record today and just have these videos ready for when I want to upload them for this first channel, and I just been feeling like I want to let go. But before I get into this video, I just want to let you know you got to do the work. Like the easiest way I can say is you got to do the work. There's a teacher, he doesn't regard himself as a teacher, but there's a master of this stuff that I like to reference a lot, and his name is Brother Panic. And it's so funny how like the stuff I create in my life, I don't really need to check on him anymore. But he'd be making these jokes saying that like some people here are just here to hang out, and that's cool and that's all right. And I want to point that out to y'all as well about myself when I go to make these videos. When I preface anything like I'm talking about in these videos, you have to understand I'm coming from a level of I does this. I does this. So it's like when I'm giving you my perspective, I don't know what level you may be at when you're picking up on my frequency, but I've had people on my old channel. They have said like watching my videos is deja vu and stuff. But you have to understand, doing the work in this whole thing is you have to apply what you actually learn in your own way, right? I even say this with deity. See, and it's crazy because before I found Brother Panic, I never knew him. And funny enough, when I hear him talk, it was the same case for me that I hear from other people. Some people told me like I sound like him. So it's actually funny because he's a bit more extreme than I, but I had this when I interviewed, and it wasn't really an interview. It was supposed to just be a conversation. And it really was because I didn't have anything to ask him because it felt like it was just two of us telling each other things we already knew. But Max Ziggin, when I talked to Max Ziggin, I asked him if he knew Brother Panic, and he said, nah. He said, what is it, like another guy somewhere else saying the exact same things? And then he said, well, it doesn't surprise me because this is all one collective thing, and all of this stuff can be channeled. And that's what I'm saying to y'all. If you're actually doing the work out there to spirituality, you don't need anybody on this platform or on these platforms. And honestly, at the end of the day, if you're just listening to them to listen to them, by all means, indulge in what you want to indulge in for the time that you're here. Just don't get attached to any of this stuff. That's all I will say is don't get attached to this experience because remember, understand that this whole thing is an illusion, right? But have fun within the illusion. Do what you want because the thing is supposed to keep your heart lighter than a feather. And the other thing is you're supposed to be able to let go, and I think the best way I can explain that is just back up, back up sometimes. Because here's the thing. I feel like with a lot of this information that gets passed around, it is like, BP over there says, it's a lot of people trying to get their likes up and their clicks up. I've never been about that. You can even see that on my old channel. But I do think it's about that, trying to get their likes up. And you have to keep in mind that some of these motherfuckers change the truth of a lot of these things to do that. And you have to be very careful. So my tips that I give you are, of course, watch me and watch Brother Panic. No, I'm just joking. But when you're looking for people to watch, right, or you're in a community of others to watch that are watching some, whatever it may be, always remember that the spiritual journey is individual. At the end of the day, it's individual. No one can tell you anything. It's your relationship with if you're at the level that you still believe in God, then it's your relationship to God, no one else's. So no one can really tell you what's wrong or what's right or what's good and what's bad because all of those are just illusions here. Now, we have morality, human morality and things like that down here that keep us from running amok. And, people talk about balance and all of that. And that's what I always say I'm a person of. I'm a person of balance. Like if I got to be the demon and devil in your reality, then I do, depending on what happens and what plays out. And I'm very, really that person. A lot of people love and respect me and know that. I like that I'm really real with people because it allows me to keep that balance. I'm not all sweet sugar and sunshine all the time. I've never been. There's a point in time where you know, this is going to be a little bit honest to say. Now remember, there's some context before I say this, but there was a point where I disliked my own kind, like melanated brothers and sisters. I disliked them because of how hood and all this shit that I used to see growing up. And I actually made it a point to create an ego to be completely away from this. You know, super smart, super nerdy. But I've been nerdy because that's just been naturally me my entire life and in the games and all that. But I made it a point out to not be, you know, what quote unquote would be ghetto. And that, you know, and funny enough, it actually came out pretty good because I kind of kept it hidden within myself. You know, I didn't, obviously, you're not going to walk around raising that flag, but I hung around with all different crowds. People literally would say about me that I'm the guy that everybody knows and everybody's just chill with. And it's just like a cool guy everybody knows. Because I never wanted to show that, but I always had a distaste for that. But then, you know, I came to the realization that we're all gods and goddesses down here, and there's actually something that is sinister within this system that has my brothers and sisters mind controlled like this. You know, and mind control isn't a bad thing. It's just how it can be utilized, just like money and other things that are around here. They're all just tools. But, you know, so I just say that to you to say, like, there is a lot of things going on. I don't even know why I went on that tangent for a little bit, but maybe some of y'all could tell me in the comments what I was trying to say. But the point is that on this journey, it's individual. And there's a lot of motherfuckers on here that try to preach and do these things. Like, you know what's the funniest thing to me is when you come into spirituality or you come into consciousness, whatever we want to call it, all this work or the work you're doing is literally that you are supposed to be breaking down religion. You're supposed to see religion for the trap it is. And if you're too connected, like if you're in a religion anyways, coming down into this stuff, it's not a bad thing, right? You know, we all of us have had some sort of influence from religion, whether we like it or not. Like I didn't go to church. My family didn't really believe in that. Thank God that I still, you know, would see people talk about God and all that and da-da-da. But for me, I was thrusted into having psychic abilities. So at a point in time, I was almost scared that I needed to start praying to God. We'll get to that story in another video. But what I'm saying about thank God I wasn't is because the religious mindset, if you see a lot of these motherfuckers, like I'm seeing a lot of, I want to touch that in another video too. There's a lot of religious content being pushed right now. And I want to explain a theory video on why I think that may be happening. And it's not like I have no problem with religion or anything, but I would like to talk about it. Anyways, so going back to what I said, I see a lot of like fear-mongering stuff pushed with spirituality and all of this stuff. And the one truth is, no one way is right. And for some reason, this is such an ancient thought pattern that I believe this before I would even consider myself into spiritual works. Remember, I don't consider myself a spiritual person. I just really say like I'm an aware person. But yeah, I would always see I always see this fear mongering in spirituality that you better be vegan or you got to do this way and you got to do that. Now, while some of these paths may work for different people, there is no one right answer. You need to understand that. Motherfuckers cannot be here fear mongering you into shit. That is just, it's so fucked. Like it's so fucked. And it annoys the hell out of me sometimes. And that's when I talk about the balance. I gotta pull myself away from that conversation sometimes because I'm like, yo, these motherfuckers are actually probably behind the scenes getting off on this delusion that they built for themselves, almost like lying to you motherfuckers. And I've heard other people say to me that there are people who go behind the scenes and know exactly what they're doing, which is why I used to have this belief. I don't know if it's the same belief still, that there are people within this game that are deliberately conscious and spiritual, and they know what they're doing to their audience. I would say some of the celebrities would know, but who knows? But I really do believe that there are people in this game that are very well aware, and just because I remove myself from caring about this shit, you know, I stay in the midpoint. I don't have any true hard feelings to the point where I would want to argue this shit, but I stay in that point where I realize that there are motherfuckers in this game who will twist the way spirituality and consciousness is supposed to work and just to like almost like scare you, but also get attention. And I just don't know, man. I just feel like if you're truly into this work and doing the work, that like over time you won't give a fuck about any of that shit or any of it anyways. Like you'll start backing away. So it's really weird sometimes when I see people who claim that they know all this sacred geometry and all this shit and blah blah blah. And what it could be anything: sacred geometry, gematria, Sanskrit, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. All the facets of what fucking defines reality. Even being into the 7 laws of the universe, which I'm into those. The 7 Hermetic laws. I made these shits work for me forever without even building altars. I would say that my table was an altar where I made my videos. I actually put stuff in the corners, but I've never had an official altar, which I was getting ready to build on the 7th of September, and I ended up canceling the order. Who knows why? Maybe my spirit really knows that there's a better time that it's going to come. But, I canceled the order. I had all these pyramids coming and stuff, and I was going to set it up. But I realized, fuck it, I'm not going to do that yet. And, yeah, so, it's almost like, in a way, it's hard to even put out the words of why this stuff happens, but I'm telling y'all got to stay away from this content. Like, when you start getting that weird feeling in your stomach that this content's making me feel weird, maybe you got everything you needed to get, and it's time to go. It's time to go. But anyways, all right, I'm out of here. Peace. Love you guys. If you guys want to subscribe or anything like that, you're free to do what you want. But if you want more videos like this, subscribe and like. I'm still going to put them out. But, let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about. Comment down below. I will read all comments. I will just ignore shit that seems like trolls. But, All right. I'm out. Peace.